no big deal. I'll post it to my Facebook group later. It's not working. Okay, so let's talk about boundaries. So besides the importance, like I said, of, our physical boundaries, even in these times, I want to talk about the boundaries with our work life, with our relationships, with our kids, family, everybody. Because really this is the one thing that is going to keep you from getting frustrated and resentful and keep you happy. So let me see if I can do it now, if it's going to let me share this now. When I tell people I'm going to be on, I like to be on. So I'm trying to get this up and moving for my group here. Let me see if I can do it now, if it's going to let me share this now. One more second, guys. Thank you so much for your patience. I will make it worth your while, because this is such an awesome topic. I'm going to be on. I like to be on. So I'm trying to get this. I think we worked. Okay. Great. For my group here. Great. So now I'm live both places, so I can get moving. Okay, so today we're talking about boundaries, which are always super important, especially in the situation we're in today with being home, with family. We're working from home. We're everything. So thank you so much. Okay, so let's talk about boundaries. So when we talk about our kids, the best place to start is even like before they're born. The best book I ever read, which taught me about boundaries from the beginning, was a book by Wendy Mogul called The Blessing of a Skin Knee. And she talks about like building resilience in kids, and she's a psychologist, I think, or psychiatrist, and she's done a lot of research. And her book was pretty much about teaching our kids boundaries from the beginning, about like our space and our bedroom and knocking before just teaching them the basics. So that's a great place to start if you have young kids, a young family. That book, like I read a couple different times during raising my children. But I also want to talk about like the boundaries even with our older kids. So thank you guys for getting on. So like I had a situation where I was doing everybody's laundry, which I don't mind doing some of because that's what I do and I don't mind doing it. But I was getting resentful because I had one child in particular who threw everything on the floor in the laundry basket, and I was resentful because I was spending my whole day doing that particular kid's laundry, and I was like, what is wrong with this picture? And I realized, Michelle, you don't have to be doing this. So you always want to address it when you're not in the emotion of it. I didn't say anything that day, whatever. But the next day I just went in and I said, listen, I said, you make a lot of laundry and I never mind. Like part of my job as a mom is wanting to do that, but I don't want to spend my whole Sunday doing it. So I will do one load for you a week, period. The rest is on you. And he was like, okay, that's cool. I mean, it's all in how you say it and not using the emotion of it. And so that was one way that I made a boundary and went from being super resentful, I think he's watching me, super resentful, to being able to like have my Sundays. I'll do one load and each of you get a load. I've got 3 kids and that's it. The rest of it is on you guys. So that was a simple way to set a boundary, but it kept me from being super frustrated and resentful that I was sitting home all day Sunday doing that. So that was huge for me. Another example is at work. So I am one of those people, I'm a morning person, and everybody's got their own what works for them, but I at night need to shut off at a certain time. Otherwise I know myself and I don't sleep well. I'll be thinking about things all night, and so I know I need to shut off at a certain time. So I have made any work meetings or anything that anybody needs me for, if that's volunteer work, anything like after 9 o'clock, I'm not available. And that's just a boundary I've set. I've set it with my family, I've set it with my husband, I've said it with my father, who loves to call late at night with like ideas or questions or whatever, but he knows after 9 o'clock I'm not available to talk about any of that, because then I don't sleep well. And so I do it for my own benefit, but as long as you're saying it the right way and doing it the right way, people respect that. And something so simple like that has kept me from having to deal with things at night. Like I can turn off, that's when I read my book, I watch TV with my family, whatever. So that's another boundary. And also at work, you want to set boundaries too, so that you're not taken advantage of what you're available for and what you're not available for. And if you set these boundaries ahead of time and do it in the right way, people respect it. Like a coach that I worked with always says, boundaries are love. Boundaries tell people, they give them expectations of what you are available for and what you're not available for. And so it sounds so simple, but sometimes it's hard to look in on your life and find out where can I make and change these boundaries. I wanted to give you another example. So another example is even like with your spouse, right? So sometimes as women, we try to do everything ourselves, right? But then we get resentful. We're pissed. We cooked, we cleaned, we did this, we did that, whatever. Instead of being pissed and being resentful, tell your spouse what you need help with. Like what, just be honest, but don't do it at a time of emotion when you're feeling that way. You want to kind of like let that go. The next day, like have a discussion. Listen, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed right now. I've got this on my plate, this on my plate, this on my plate. Like where can maybe we work this out so that I get some help in these spots? And so really like right now, especially with being home with everybody, you're not used to like you working from home, maybe your husband working from home, your kids in school all day, that you've got to set these boundaries. It'll make your life so much easier. And if you set them now, it sets you up for success all the way. So I think this is such an important topic, and I've wanted to talk about it before, but even now, especially with everybody being in the same space and needing some space. So boundary is also a space, right? You can go in your room and close the door, and people need to know that they need to knock and not come in and bother you. Or if you have a special hour at night that you want to go take a bath and do that, like people just need to be respectful to that. So if you set the boundaries yourself and you do the work, it will work without a doubt. Boundaries are love. Just remember that in your head. Boundaries are love. Boundaries set people up for expectations of what you're available for and what you're not available for. So if you want to talk about your individual needs, I will put a link down below that you can get a free quick coaching session with me. I can help you look into your life a little bit and figure out where your needs are, because sometimes it is hard when you're in it and you've got all these different things going in to figure out where you need to set a boundary and how to set that boundary so that it comes off as love and as just something you need versus anything blaming the other person. So I am available. I'll put the link after this. I appreciate y'all's patience trying to get this up so that I could get it on my other group as well. And just know I love you. Thank you, Stacy, Alyssa, everybody for watching. I appreciate it. And if you're watching this on the replay, you have comments, you have ideas. Hey, we all learn from each other. Like, put it in a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you guys also have any topics that you're like, Michelle, I want you to talk about this right now during this time, I'm happy to do that as well. So hope you guys are well, looking for some connection. Stay on, like give us some feedback, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye.